Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Uh, Today I'll be doing some more concepts on object-oriented programming. Uh, in today's topic, I'll be explaining the details of inheritance methods and instances. So let me take up inheritance. Inheritance is a process of reusing and extending the same existing class without any modification, and inheritance also helps in producing relationship between itself and relationship between the inherited classes. So basically, if I have to explain you in a very simple way, there will be a main class and the derived class will have some properties of the base class. That it means that you have inherited the properties from the base class and using it in the derived classes which you have derived. That is known as inheritance. Okay. Now, simple example as class animal. Class animal is a main class which has some properties in it, and based on those properties, like sound or shape or size, you can tell any properties. Uh, Under that class, I'll be deriving some more subclasses as class dog, class cat, and class elephant. Okay. So dog, cat, and elephant are subclasses or derived classes from the main class animal. It means that these dog, cat, and elephant have derived some of the properties of that animal, not all. Okay, that is known as inheritance. Now, another example of inheritance is class vehicle. Under that class vehicle, I have taken few of the properties, or if I have to mention it as member functions, fuel amount, capacity, and apply brakes are functions. Based on these functions, I can, or the properties, I can derive few other, derived classes as class bus, class car, class truck from the class vehicle. Okay, this is also a simple example of inheritance. Now, I'll take up types of inheritance, that is single, multiple, hybrid, multi-level, and hierarchical inheritance. So, types of inheritance, there are of 5 types, that is single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. So, I'll take up one by one. Single inheritance is where you will have one base class and one derived class, where there will be a derived class which will be derived from one base class. Okay, this is known as single inheritance. There's only one of each of them. Okay. Example is, again, I've taken a class animal. I've created a function eat and sleep as member functions of that main class animal. Based on these properties, I have taken another derived class that is derived from animal, that is dog. I have taken another member function as bark. Okay, so dog will have member functions of eat and sleep also. Along with that, bark is on one more. To represent represent that dog is derived class, it has been shown like this. Okay. Now, next type is multi-level inheritance. In multi-level inheritance, there will be one, you know, main class, and from that class I'll derive another class, and from that class there'll be another derived class. From that class I can derive another class. So it simply says that you can derive subclasses from your previous class, okay, which will form levels of inheritance. So this is one level, this is one level, this is one level. Okay, so this is known as multi-level inheritance. Uh, this is the best example that I can give you for multi-level inheritance. For base class, it will be grandfather. Okay, intermediate class will be father, and derived class is a child. So it simply says that father will derive properties of a grandfather, and child will derive properties of a father. So this is known as multi-level inheritance, because you simply have levels of inheritance here. Okay. This is the very best example. You can surely get to know what is multi-level. Now, I'll be taking multiple inheritance. Well, in multiple inheritance, there'll be more number of base classes and there'll be only one child class. So, simply saying that multiple inheritance has, for here I represent as one base class 1 and base class 2, and child class has been derived from these two base classes. It can be any number of base classes, but you'll have only one derived child class or derived class. Okay, so this is known as multiple inheritance. uh, this is a very best example. Rectangle is a derived class which has properties of area and perimeter. Okay, area and perimeter are considered here as base classes, and rectangle is the derived class. Here, mammal and winged animal are the base classes. Bat is a derived class. So, mammal is one base class, winged animal is a base class. Then, bat has properties of mammal and also a winged animal. Okay, represents the properties of winged animal. This bat has been deriving its properties from these two base classes, and this has become a derived class. This is known as multiple inheritance. So please don't get confused between multi-level and multiple. In multiple, you have more number of base classes and only one derived class, where in multi-level, you will have levels of inheritance. Okay. Now, hierarchical inheritance. Here in hierarchical inheritance, it's just like a tree. When childhood we were doing family tree and everything. Similar to that, this is a hierarchical inheritance where one base class will have some derived classes, and under that will be more derived classes, and keeps going on. Okay. Now, an example. This is a simple example of hierarchical inheritance. That shape is a base class. Rectangle, triangle, and circle are derived classes. So rectangle, triangle, and circle are shapes. So it has properties of shapes. So these are derived classes, and this is a base class. This is like a tree, simple tree. Okay. This is known as hierarchical inheritance. This is another example of the same thing, that main class is students. Under that, I will categorize students as art student, engineering student, and medical students. Okay. So under this category, engineering can be divided as mechanical, electrical, and computer science students. Right. This is also a tree that is known as hierarchical inheritance. These derived classes have been derived from the class engineering, and engineering has been derived properties from its main class student. This is known as hierarchical inheritance. Okay. Now, hybrid inheritance. Okay, if you closely observe, hybrid inheritance is a combination of hierarchical inheritance and multiple inheritance. In hierarchical, there will be one base class and more than one derived classes. In multiple inheritance, we will have more than one base class and one derived class. Okay, hybrid inheritance is a combination of these two. Now, this is the best example which I got in the internet. Okay, so cricketer is a base class. Now, cricketer can be divided as bowlers and batsmen. Bowler, batsman. That is derived class for cricketer. Okay, these are derived classes. Now, if I consider this bowlers and batsmen as base classes, there are two base classes, and all-rounder is a derived class. All-rounder represents he's a bowler and a batsman, right? So base class for all-rounder and base class for all-rounder. So these became base classes for this derived class all-rounder. Even though these are called as derived classes for cricketer, for all-rounder this is known as base class. This is a combination of combination of hierarchical inheritance and multiple inheritance. Okay, now I will take up next concept known as methods. Methods uh, can be simply told as member functions of a class. For simple terms, okay. To be more specific or clear, they are set of instructions which has been associated of an object which is present in that class. So I'll have derived some object in a class, and this method should be associated with that object. That member function should be associated with some object. Then it is known as methods. Okay. So these methods can be, initialized in two ways, or can be called in two ways. That is, it can be called inside the class directly or from outside the class. Now let me take up an example so that it will be easy for you to understand what is, the two types. Uh, so here I have taken a class person, string name. String name is a object inside the class. Now public. Inside public, I'll define the method as void get name. Get name became a method now. So under that get name, I'll be returning name. What is name here? Name is an object. So we can clearly see that the object is being used by the function. So this part is known as method, and the here is where you will define the method which is inside the class person. Okay, now inside the main function I'll call the method. See, have taken person Robert as a variable. So variable dot get name is a function, uh, sorry, get name is a method which I will be calling as with by using dot operator and return 0. Okay, now uh, in the next slide I'll tell you what is outside the class function. So this is how you will define it inside the class and call the method from the main function. Okay, so this is the same example which I have given you from outside the class. So I've taken a class person, again string name as object, public void get name. Void get name again is a member function of inside, which is mentioned inside the class. So since I'm not returning any thing from the function, this is just simply known as member function inside the class for now. Now, if I have to define a method from outside the class, I will mention void person. Person is, we know it's a class name. Now, scope resolution operator. Scope resolution operator will be used so that we get access to all the member functions, all the variables in the with the whole program which are mentioned as public. Okay, scope resolution operator will help you to do that job. I've used scope resolution operator double colon. Now get name. Get name is a member function which I have mentioned inside the class person. Okay, so void class name scope resolution operator get name, that is this, and for that function I'll return name. See, name is a object inside the class person. So this is how you define a method outside the class. See, we can see here it's outside the class separately. Okay, now it's the same thing in main person Robert dot get name. Same way with using dot operator, you will call this method. Okay, if you want to use that method, right? Now let me explain you now next topic of instances. Okay, an object instance is a specific occurrence of an object. Okay, so if you want a particular object to be seen, that is known as an instance or object instance. For example, a specific mail message document is also an instance. So for that specific time, there will be some message popping up by saying this message document was very important. So for that time or that object will of that instance is known as instance. Okay, now this is a simple example of instance. Hash include IO string using namespace std as standard header files for the C++ program. Now I've taken a class data. Inside the class, I'll be creating instance variables. Public char name int age. So these are where instance variables which I'll create inside the class data. Now, so for me to get to know that those are instance variables, in the main function, I'll be creating an object X of the class data. So, by mentioning the class name data, following with some variable, for here I've taken the example as X, this will be, helping me to get to know that I have created an instance X for the instance variables present inside the class data. Okay, this is a very simple example of creating an instance in a program. So we will be using it in a program for more understandable, and how to tell you, it's like, it will just increase the readability of the program and also help you to format it very well. Okay, so these are very good practices in programming language by using instances, methods, inheritance. Okay, this shows your programming skills everywhere. Okay, so this is a very good example. Class data, I have created some variables. Okay, so if I want those variables for an instance, I will create an object known as X by using the class name data. Okay, data X. So this data X represents that I have created an instance of that object X by using the instance variables char name and int. Okay, so this is an example of instance. So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed my session today. Uh, in the upcoming videos, I'll be taking up more programming techniques, programs, you know. So please do subscribe and like my channel, and please do share it with others. And I will also tell you one more thing, that if you have any queries, please do put it on the comment section so that I'll get to know what and all you need. And you can also put up problems of my videos also, so that in the future I can help to improve more and get more ideas of what to do and how to do and all, right? So please do subscribe my channel and do like, share to everyone. So thank you guys. I'll be seeing you in the next upcoming video. Thank you. Goodbye.